nights. Keeps you out of the elements. Down inside here, one of my favorite spots on the boat. So you got a lot going on. So your table has a spot that it stores. Your leg has a spot that it stores. You have bookcases down inside there to hold all your extra cushions. So you're not just shoving them in a locker. You're not just throwing them in to an area. You're not leaving them at the dock. They have a place to go. So if you're not using them, you have a spot to keep them. So if you want to use them, you have them with you. Inside against the bulkhead wall, you've got all reset switches. So no more fuse panels. As the stereo stops working, hit a button. It's lighted inside there, and then your amplifiers for your stereo upgrade and your cone speakers are all also located in there as well. So you got, and again, a lot more storage once you even put the cushions inside there. You still got a ton of storage down inside there. The front of this boat. So the table can mount right in here. It's got a clip mount that goes right inside here. All these cushions can come out, but if you want to pull this cushion out, you've got a built-in cooler, which is insulated and drains overboard right underneath the front seat. Up in the anchor locker, you've got another 4-step boarding ladder in the bow. Plus you've got your anchor holder in here. You got tons of room down there, so you can put a couple 100 feet of line in here if you need to. The chances of you needing a couple 100 feet of line around here are pretty slim to none, but you could if you wanted to. But again, all flush mount hinges on here, all stainless steel hardware on there. This boat's equipped with a forward shower. If people are getting on and off the boat, they're coming off the beach and they're using the front, they can rinse their feet off. Somebody spills something up here, you can go ahead and you can knock that all down. Just part of the bow filler cushion. So you can actually take these seats out too. So what's cool about these seats coming out, you put the table in, you can sit 4 people around the table. All right. You can also sit facing this way and you're hanging out and you're still involved in the conversation in the boat. Because a lot of people, you get up in the bow and there's no conversation, you lose them because they're either facing with their back to you or you can't sit up this way. But I'm sitting in the bow of the boat right now. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall. This thing comes pretty high up my back, so you feel like you're in this boat. You're not on this boat. You got grab handles placed at the right spots on here. But again, I'm 6 foot tall. I got my legs stretched out without any problem as well. And when you're sitting in this seat, look how high it comes up my back. These are the things you want to point out to the customers because it gets rough as hell out there. Saturday afternoon, you're getting bounced all over the place. You want to feel like you're in the boat, not on the boat. And this boat allows you to do it. You got a flip down armrest to get yourself nice and comfortable. Tons of leg room in here. Real sweet setup. And again, you're in the boat, not on the boat. You got cup holders up here. You got the Rockford Fosgate speakers up here. You got little shelves inside here, so you got a little bit of room to store some stuff in there as well. This boat's got the upgraded stereo system in it. Just keep these lights on real quick. So what the upgraded stereo system gives you in the boat is it gives you subwoofer, amplifier, and then you get LED backlights on all the speaker rings. Then we take it another level and add the upgraded tower speakers on there as well. And those give you a separate amplifier and Rockford Fosgate tower speakers up on the top. In the floor here, we got another lockable storage locker. Big locker, life jackets down there, you throw your covers down inside there. So just a couple little things you want to point out where they go a little bit, extra into detail. Stainless steel gas shocks. Anywhere they can make tool, like these are through bolted through here. Those are tooled at the factory, so you can actually run a bolt through there, and you're not running screws right in through the fiberglass. You see these little black rubber stoppers? It's taking the extra mile to take those rubber stoppers so the fiberglass isn't sitting on top of the fiberglass. So you're not getting any chafing on your lids. You're not getting any bouncing, any chattering, any moving. So just real nice setup on there. Now, Jordan, I just have you hop up for a second. Since this boat is available on the stern drive, watch out, Charlie. Oh. What do you do with the hatch? Well, the hatch goes away. There's no engine down there, and it's shrunk your car down inside here. So you load everything up with your tubes, your bags, all the stuff that, because you got 8 people on the boat, you usually end up with 7 or 8 bags, you got 6 or 7 tubes, you got tow ropes, you got dock lines, you got coolers, you got lunch, you got a lot of stuff on the boat. So before you take a chance to go run out, you can stuff everything down here so it's nice, safe, and secure when you get down inside there. But it also makes everything a lot easier to work on too. Now, one of the important features you want to point out on these boats is that all of our outboard powered boats are have self-bailing cockpits. Not everybody has self-bailing cockpits on the boat. So any water that goes in the boat goes out of the boat. You got easy access to your batteries down here. You've got liner storage all down throughout here too, which is real nice. In the back here, you've got lights in here so you can see what's going on at night. You've got 2 separate transducers. So your depth finder has its own transducer and your fish finder GPS has its own transducer. So you have redundancy on your systems there. You also have your brains for your power steering underneath here. So that's your power steering pump down underneath there. And that's pretty much it. The rest of it's all, storage area. But it's a big, huge storage area down inside here. One of the things you want to point out to everybody too is when you're down in these bilge areas and you're opening up these hatches, everything's finished painted. There's no raw fiberglass anywhere. So anywhere you're going to stick your hands, you're not going to come out with fiberglass shoved up underneath your fingernails and bleeding. Everything's all finished off. Everything's real nice, neat, and clean. These are part of your stringers, like I was telling you how on the back of the boat, how they're integrated right in. There's a framework of your boat right there. Yeah. So from a construction standpoint, I mean, everything's super, super sturdy, running all the way through. Because again, these boats were re-engineered for handling the outboards, not just having an outboard slapped on there.
Yeah, I never seen storage like this before.
It's gigantic. So if I hit the button, we can actually lock Joe down inside. That's pretty easy. It's not the fastest electric screw jack in the world, but it is very, very quiet. It is a big, heavy latch, so that's why it does take a little bit of time to go, to go up and down. They do have ones that are faster out there, but they make an awful lot of noise. A couple of things you want to point out to why that thing should be closing down. They're about a 95% vertically integrated company. What that means is they make 95% of the components of this boat at the factory. So all their furniture, all their hardware, anything they can build there, that they build there. So in the furniture department, when you look at the interior, everything's triple stitched. If you look at the stitching, it's all straight. You get on some other boats, they start going wavy, they start going sideways. You have all diamond stitched, vinyl inserts on there. This is all textured vinyl. This isn't any different. This is just regular vinyl, but it's textured on the outside. Because you'll have people say, well, doesn't water get through that? Well, no. It's the same idea as this. It just has a texture on the outside of it. So there's nothing different between the two. We switch the colors up, but you look at all the stitching on the edges. Everything's triple stitched all the way through, so you don't have to worry about splitting, tearing, things falling apart, which you do on a lot of other boats. There's little tiny details where you really go through. And back here at the helm, you guys want to end your presentation at the helm. You want to say, Mr. Customer, would you slide back down here, get yourself comfortable, and let me show you what goes on here at the helm. So you get the prospective buyer in the seat. You want to show them you've got tilt steering, you've got a bolster seat. You can stand up or you can sit down and drive this boat. The seat swivels 360 degrees. It slides back and forth. You have DTS, so you say, hey, look, you feel how easy this is? There's no wire, there's no cables there. It's all fly-by-wire. So it's as easy as it now with the boat not running as it is when the boat is running. There's no friction, there's no reduction on there. You've got USB plugs and 12-volt plugs here. So people plug their phones in. You also have an audio adapter here too as well. When you get the optional trim tabs, they're Lenco electric tabs, and they have LED indicators on the sides here so you know what position that they're in. They are electric trim tabs, so you tap the button and the trim tab reacts. It's not the days of the old hydraulic ones where you'd hit it, hold it, and then the boat would move, and then you got to go back. These are instantaneous. You've got all illuminated switch panels on here. Everything's labeled real nice. Stereo remote control. You got a 7-inch Raymarine Axiom touchscreen GPS and fish finder, depth finder on there. You have a standalone depth finder on here, trim gauge for your for the motor, tack with SmartCraft setup on here, so you have instantaneous kind of all the essential information that you may need to know. And then, you know, your essentials on here, your fuel, battery voltage, and engine temperature. And then you also have active trim on this boat. Now, most people don't know what active trim is. So active trim is something Mercury came out with to make boating easier for people. Most people, even the most seasoned boater, don't know how to trim the boat. They don't. So what Mercury's done is they made a pretty simple system that works awesome. I've tried every which way to kind of get it to trick it, to make it do things that I couldn't do myself. It works awesome. It really is real sweet. So we set 5 settings when the boat gets here, and we set the boat up during your prep session. Okay, 1's the least aggressive trim setting, 5's the most aggressive trim setting. There's GPS chip in the motor. You get the boat up on plane, the boat will trim itself out correctly to that preset trim setting. 3 is kind of your normal average operating range where we set it. So you get the boat up on plane, trim the motor out. You go to make a turn, it tucks the motor in. You pull the boat back off of a plane. When you stop the boat, the motor trims itself back in. One less thing you have to do, you're always trimming your boat correctly because it's doing it for you. Another thing that it does for you is it gives you one less thing you have to worry about. So you're leaving Tyson Shoals on a Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and this guy's going that way, and that guy's going that way, and this guy's going that way. It's really rough. You got 10 people in the boat. You're not sitting behind the wheel going, checking your trim gauge. Am I getting the boat right? You're just driving the boat and you're paying attention to what's going on. So it's a much safer operation for you too. So it's a pretty inexpensive option. We bring them in on pretty much all the boats now because it works that good. It makes the experience that much better. It's one